Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining today's webinar, Stayntouch Product Enhancements, version 5.46, new data fields added to select reports, batch print registration cards from group rooming list, and more, presented by Stayntouch implementation consultant, Rick Macco. I'm your host, Erin Fisher, the content writer here at Stayntouch. Today's presentation will cover how you can get the most out of the Stayntouch Cloud PMS version 5.46 product release. In this webinar, we will highlight new data fields added to select reports and illustrate how to batch print registration cards from the group rooming list. We will have a short Q&A session at the end of the presentation. Feel free to submit questions throughout the presentation, and we will answer them in the order they are received at the end. And that's all I have right now. Rick, I'm going to hand the presentation over to you.
Thanks, Erin. Good day, everyone. Like Erin said, I will show you the new fields added to a few of the reports, and this is to the daily production reports. So if I go into reports, new report, if I type in production, the reports affected are daily production by demographics, and daily production by rate. Since I've already ran these before the call, I'm going to go to my reports inbox. And I'm pulling the daily production report. The new fields that will show per day are the arrivals, adults, children, forecast food and beverage revenue, actual food and beverage revenue, forecast other revenue, actual other revenue, forecast total revenue, and actual total revenue. This change is also affected on all three reports. So we were on the daily production, so now the daily production by demographics. You will see the same criteria: arrivals, adults, children, the forecast, and actual food and beverage, other, and total. The daily production by rate report will show the same updates in additional columns: arrivals, adults, children, the forecast, food and beverage, other, total, actual food and beverage, other, and total. This can also be pulled via the print button. I just need to change my filter here. You can see the changes here in your PDF report. And I can also see the changes if I download to CSV. Now, these fields will also appear via the reports schedule report export. I've already pulled these for you. And so if we pull the daily production, which came as a scheduled report, you can see the same criteria in these columns added here from H through P. This is the daily production. Daily production by demographics will show as the rows. And then the daily production by rate. So adults through actual total revenue. And with this report, I pulled just for a 7-day time frame. Okay, so the additional update made comes to the batch registration cards on the group rooming list. So if I go into my menu, groups, manage groups, I'm going to go into my holiday party group here. And when I load the rooming list, you will see an orange reg card button here. So a couple areas with the criteria here. I can select all of my attendees in the rooming list. If I hit registration card, it will pull up all my guests in this rooming list if the criteria matches. So I can also pick and choose. So in this example, I have four guests. My reg card will print my 4 guests. If I leave this criteria blank and don't select anything, and if I hit reg card, it's going to pull all the guests in the rooming list again. So basically, the blank, if you leave this blank or if you select all, it will do the same thing. Couple things to note here, that the reg card will only affect when it comes to the room status. So if reservations are in a no-show status, cancel status, checked in status, or checked out status, these guests will not print on the reg card.
All right, thank you, Rick, for that insightful presentation. I'd now like to take to the floor for questions. Remember, you can submit questions through the question box in the middle of the control panel. So I'll give everyone a few seconds to enter those. All right, I'm not seeing any questions, so I'd like to take to the floor to offer some final thoughts. Okay, so today we highlighted new data fields added to select reports and illustrated how to batch print registration cards from the group rooming list. With that, I'd like to conclude our presentation. Thank you all for coming. And if you have any additional questions, feel free to email me at erin.fisher@stayntouch.com. Thanks again.